What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again today. And today I'm finally going to be doing my season preview for the Chicago Blackhawks. Now that it's September, we're less than a month away from the start of preseason. I decided I'll put my input on where I think this lineup is. And I will admit, some of these parts are actually pretty challenging to put together. I put four lines, three lines of defense, and goalies. And there are some prospects that are not on this list. So let's get right into it. Start off with line one. I'm pretty sure it's pretty obvious. It looks like it's either going to be Kane, Doc, and DeBrincat. Doc, it can take that next step if he has great chemistry with Kane and DeBrincat. That line could be extremely deadly, a top five line in the league. With Kane and DeBrincat both being DeBrincat being a sniper, Kane being a passer and a sniper, and Doc being a power forward. This could be a very deadly line for years to come. Second line we got is Kubalik, Taves, and Johnson. Taves and Kubalik work really well together. I'm pretty sure that's been obvious over the last, I should say only 1 year since Taves didn't play last year, but he played really well with Kubalik in 2019-20. And with the acquisition of Tyler Johnson, I think that'd be a good place to kind of in a way replace Brandon Saad as he used to play on that right wing with them. And I think Johnson's a good fit for that line. We'll see how he does on that. If this is how the lines work, we'll see how he does. And I'm very interested to see. And third and fourth there, I did something because I really couldn't decide on how these lines. I knew down the middle it was going to be Strome, and I think it's going to be Borgstrom. Borgstrom is who they got from Florida last year, one of the prospects that they had in the whatchamacallit trade. I can't think it off the top of my head. But and yeah, Carpenter and Connolly on the right wing, I think, could be switched around if they need be. And then same with Nylander and Hagel. I think Nylander will be on the fourth line, but Hagel can also be on the fourth line. Hagel is that kind of checking guy. Carpenter as well, more so just defensive players that can keep guys off the puck and keep them with the puck. While Nylander and Connolly are more scoring types, even though Connolly's contract is kind of literal hell, but it's not as bad as some of them in the league at least. But still, Nylander, if he can discover that potential that he could have, that could be a great. He can move up to the third line. Hale can move down to the fourth. His scoring's doesn't really need to be his priority. Same with Carpenter and Connolly. And then on scratched, I have Gaudette, I have Kara, and I have Kurashev. Kurashev can very well return to the minors. I don't see really a place for him on this roster. There's just not really a good fit for him, I don't think, right now. With Pius Suter gone, that takes care of one spot, but Kurashev is just I don't see him fitting in with this lineup. I think he'll return to Rockford for a year maybe and see what happens next year. Then we have Gaudette and we have Kara, who I kind of see as the same player in a way almost. Both fourth line centers. Gaudette's a bit younger. Kara they picked up in free agency. Could be a healthy scratch, could be a fourth line center. Let's say Borgstrom doesn't pan out. They look at him in preseason, think it's not going to work. They could put Gaudette, they could put Kara there, and that solves that problem. But Kurashev, I'm pretty sure he's going to return to the minors. And not to mention, if Reichel has a really good preseason, he can make this lineup as well. So the Hawks have a lot of centers, and that's kind of been their problem over the last few years. They've always had a lot of centers. And then if we move on to the defense, we have the number one pairing, I think, is going to be McCabe and Jones, Seth Jones, if anyone was questioning. And Jones needs to live up to that contract, 9.5. That's a lot of money for someone who had a down year. And Dougie Hamilton only got paid $9 million. Think about Darnell Nurse, Seth Jones, those contracts, who they kind of had not the greatest years. Nurse had a decent year, and Jones had not a great year in Columbus, so he better be living up to that contract. Otherwise, there are going to be some unhappy people in Chicago about that contract. The second line, we have DeHaan and Murphy. No change from last year. They work well together. Murphy, a great defensive defenseman. DeHaan is there to complement it. He's got a bigger body. If he can not get injured, if he can stay healthy, DeHaan, he can be a solid two-way defenseman in this case. And on the third pair, we get a bit young with Kelnick and Mitchell. There were a lot of ways I could have went here, but I think Kelnick and Mitchell would be the most logical. And Kelnick has proved he could play in the few games he played last year. He scored a couple goals. Was right playing with the top guys. And you have Ian Mitchell, who I think people had more expected more of him, but didn't have a horrible year for his rookie year. And then on the scratch, we got Bodan, who I think can be the seventh defenseman. Jones, who can plug in with Mitchell or Kalnick, Caleb Jones, Seth Jones' brother. And then Stillman, who I guess could also be a seventh, but I honestly think what they should do with Stillman, trade him for like a fifth or a sixth round pick. I think they can get like just a sixth round pick would be perfect just for Stillman. Hawks don't really need him. I mean, they also have Regula in the minors, who I think will stay in the minors another year, but he can be coming up next year. Alec Regula got a few games in this year. Didn't look too horrible. Didn't look. I should say horrible. That's really bad to say. Didn't look too bad is what I should say. And if we move on to the goalies, Fleury is going to be the starter. I'm pretty sure that's the easy decision. Won the Vezina last year. Surprise everyone that he came to Chicago. And then we have Lankinen, who was the starter last year. I think it'll be a great to have Lankinen learn from Fleury. There's only 1 year left on Fleury's contract. Fleury can be that kind of mentor to Lankinen. Since he didn't really have Lankinen really wasn't here for Crawford, so he couldn't really step into Crawford's shoes yet. But now that he has a mentor in Fleury, if he gets him for a year, this could really help him down the road. And I think this is going to be a great tandem this year. If we have Fleury from Vegas and not Fleury from the end of his time in Pittsburgh, this could be a very great goaltending situation that the Hawks are in. And aside from last year when it looked like they were going to be the worst tandem in the league with Subban and Delia. And if you move on to Subban and Delia, who I have as third and fourth, Subban, they should be looking to trade. They don't really have a need for him anymore unless they're just keeping him around as the third and put him in the minors for a year so they can bring him back next year. Because Delia can stay in the minors. Delia, I don't think, is going to be a full-time NHL goal backup or even full-time goalie. Lankinen, after Fleury's either retired or maybe signs a 1 or 2 year deal, or maybe he moves on from Chicago overall. We'll see how that works. I think Lankinen will definitely become the starter probably next year, especially if Fleury has a down year and he resigns. Lankinen will definitely be the starter. And then Subban, they just really don't need. So in Delia, he's pretty much going to stay in the minors. So I'm not sure what they're going to do about that situation. But yeah, this is my projected lineup. What changes would you guys make to this lineup? Is there anyone I missed? Is there anyone you're thinking could plug in well with anyone else? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.